All right, guys. Yeah, we're live.
That was quick.
Hold on for 1 sec. So you're gonna get you should get a notification from the real discussion page. And I'm gonna share it on you. It's on YouTube and Facebook. I am. I just shared it to me and to many people. Hip hop. Sharing to WSME. I'm gonna share it on my page. Off McDaniel's page. See. Q Media Nation. Sharing. Arts page. Right. So I'm sending you the link to your phone now. You have the link to your phone. You should just get a text from me.
Who was that?
Who you talking to?
All right. Ada, give me a mic check.
I can't put on my crown.
And have the headphones on?
Yes, you can.
No, I can't.
Yeah, just put it right there.
Stop playing.
Slide it to the back.
Stop playing.
How you not gonna wear the birthday crown?
All right.
Come on.
I'm gonna do it. He gonna make me slide it. Look,
It's your birthday. You gotta celebrate 50.
There you go. Yeah, it makes the headphones look better.
There you go.
Whose birthday?
It's Ada's birthday today.
Slide it to the back.
Happy birthday.
How you not gonna wear the birthday crown?
It's a delayed response on Facebook. It's always like that.
Oh yeah, guys, make sure you all mute the Facebook page so we don't get feedback back from you guys.
I went off of it. I'm putting it on.
You got it?
I'm vibrating.
Did you get you got the link?
Yes, I did.
All right. So we about to go to work, y'all. What am I looking for?
Get it together.
I got it almost. Okay, there goes me. Make sure I got you.
What's that?
And I got you.
Want to get that one nitrous shit off of there, please? Eyes.
Sorry, it's my logo.
Get rid of it. Make a new logo.
I had to block the what do you call it? Are you ready to rock?
Much better.
Ready? You ready to rock and roll, Claudie?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Once again, it's the Me Gente Me People show. We run a little late. Normally, we do this thing from 4 to 5 o'clock on Saturday, every Saturday, with Claudia C.C. Perez and Ada in the building. Happy birthday to Ada. Right now, it's 61 degrees in New York City. It's sunny. Traffic was beautiful coming across the Triborough Bridge. Came down 95 to get here. Big shout out to all of y'all on the Triborough and all that. Cross Bronx look good, too. We got a big show. We got a lot of people on the Zoom today, which is crazy. Basically, all of Occupy Nights is on the line. So we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff today. It's going to be like that. Giving y'all time to share. Everybody share the link. Share it in the chat room. And if you're in my chat room, say hello. Stop stalking. Just say hi in the chat room. Let me know that you're there. Let me know that you're live. Word up. Don't troll. We're going to celebrate Ada's birthday today. Ada, how old are you? How old are you today? Oh, you're the big 5-0? That's how I like it. Word up. We all getting up there. Let me take off my jackets.
Wow, you got a Brooklyn shirt on today, boy. That 3 train, I'm loving it.
I represent all boroughs. I represent all boroughs. And we're going to hit the button like this. 1, 2, 3, and bang. Once again, welcome to Mi Gente Mi People with Claudia Perez and Ada. You know what I'm saying? It was you got a lot of plans coming up in June that we was talking about yesterday on the phone.
Yeah.
You got to give me an update on how the food bank is going and all that stuff and everything that's going on in Washington houses. I think June 19th is going to be dope. You know what I'm saying? We got plans.
Y'all better save the date, June 19th.
We
That's
got plans.
Father's Day.
That's Father's Day, y'all. We're celebrating. All you dads. So we're going to get that going. That should be pretty cool. But, I'm going to turn this thing over to you, Claudia. Come on for 1 second. Your host, Claudia C.C. Perez.
Hola, people. Let me just tell y'all, we got a big show today. We have a lot going on in the NYCHA community. We have a lot going on in our developments. But I'm just like Rock said, y'all need to save the date if you don't know. June 19th, that is our big Father's Day celebration along with the youth coming back outside. We got the street closures. We have the park closed down. I mean, it's gonna be really live. So save the date. Washington Houses will be the place to be. Definitely. I just want to say, BGM baby's in the house too. I always gotta say that.
Word up, yeah. We got the Boardwalk Global Media baby in the house.
Yes.
You getting up there.
Y'all gonna stop and leave me alone. You're trying to tell me I need to go shopping, right?
No, I'm just saying, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Listen.
That's it. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. But I must say, this is a weirdo baby for me.
Yeah, what's happening?
Yeah, I was telling my people, it's like, usually when you pregnant, you can get to enjoy like all kinds of stuff. This baby don't like nothing. Okay, don't like no piraguas. Don't like. It's not even Spanish, y'all. I don't know. I really don't know what's going through the baby's mind. But then I just said to myself, maybe he knows like my age, and I say he because I'm putting it in the atmosphere. I don't know. But yeah, he like greens and all kinds of stuff. No sweets, no. Yeah, and he kind of bougie too, because I can't drink regular water. It got to be sparkling or some type of bubbles in it.
Oh, he don't like it from the faucet.
Nope. He don't even like bottled water.
Oh, he's particular.
Yes, he definitely is.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I always have to talk about that because if you see me run off, it's a bathroom break because I'm getting there. My bladder gets filled real easily. I didn't bring anything to drink today, so hopefully we don't have to break off for no breaks.
Okay.
The last couple of weeks, I've been trying to keep up with my health. I had a bad case of food poisoning. That's why I wasn't here the week before, and it really took me off my feet. So I'm just letting y'all know, stay away from the outside food. Cook at home. That's the best.
As you eat an empanada.
Mm-hmm. Listen. That's all making me.
As you eat mama empanada. Okay.
Guys, I crave these things. I tell you, this is the only thing I want to eat when I come out here. And it's from this particular empanada mama in Queens.
Okay.
I tried it other places and it doesn't taste the same. So on another note, the pantry is going quite well. What I realized today, we have a whole fridge network going on. So shout out to Ronald Topping, also in Holmes Towers, Sandra Perez. We also have Mr. Betancourt from White Houses. We were able to share vegetables, and what I realized, the fridge network is becoming so big. So today, excuse me, sorry y'all. But I hate that.
You're a trooper. You're a trooper. Go get through it. Get through it. You're a trooper. Broadcaster.
We had a lot of strawberries, blueberries, green beans. We even had some fresh mint today, that was given out to the community. And what I found, we have this fridge network from the BX that delivers all throughout Manhattan in different areas. So if y'all want the hookup with that, just hit us up here and we'll definitely get y'all started. As you know, Miss Carmenita, we putting you on too, mama. We're going to make sure that stuff get out there as well in Douglas Houses. And I'm so glad that you're here today. It's been a while since I've been around. My Occupy NYCHA people is here, y'all.
Hold on. Let me
Yeah, I
do it.
gotta. Yeah, you know
Oh,
you gotta
yeah.
do it.
Come on,
Like you
yeah,
supposed to have that on cue.
I was ready for the commercial. I'm
I
sorry.
want the horns. Stop playing. You know, because we do big things over here. We definitely do big things over here. So yeah, we're gonna get this show started. But before we do, can we bring them on real quick?
Yeah,
From
absolutely.
the Zoom, we want to bring our guests on. We have Mr. Manny Martinez, Miss Cynthia Tibbs, call her Mrs. Tibbs, and the infamous Carmen Quinones. You know, I want to introduce them. They all here today. I'm letting them break free, y'all. It's not even about me today. It's about what they want y'all to hear, what they want y'all to know about. You know, and we always come in first with that information, and we're gonna give it to you correct. You know what I mean? But before we get started, can we just single out Miss Ada, my co-host over here, my guest co-host? Shout out to you. And we just gonna let's do a little happy birthday for her.
Okay.
You understand what I love birthdays. I don't know
see.
about y'all, but I love birthdays.
You got a lot of birthdays in your house.
Absolutely. Next week on the 21st,
It's true.
no, why I keep saying the 21st?
It's not the 21st.
No.
Yeah, because 21st is like now. It's like
No, that's Monday. That's when I gotta check on the BGM baby. That's the appointment. But no, the 23rd, I'll be turning 22 years old.
You?
Shout out, yes.
What?
Every time my kid has a birthday, it's my birthday.
22.
Yes.
Nice.
And then my youngest, she'll be 12 on the 29th.
So you had it when you were 10.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm just checking. I'm just doing the math. That's all.
So all day I'm gonna be celebrating birthdays, you know, and I just want to say happy birthday to you and blessings, and we wish you many, many, many more years.
I'm gonna be 100. Watch. I'm gonna
All
reach
right.
100.
I mean, you don't drink, so it's very possible. You know what I'm saying?
I know
Not drinking puts, years on your life. So
It takes away late.
I'll be dead at 70.
Don't even say that. Stop playing.
Stop drinking.
But yeah,
No,
He said no.
you're gonna live to 150.
I'm working on it.
Watch.
I'm working on it.
You're gonna have like 4 legs. You're gonna need 2 canes.
Yeah, that's all I'm talking about.
All right now. But yeah, Ada, do you want to say anything to the people?
No.
No, I
She's a
just
woman of
can't
few
with her.
words.
I know she is. I just can't with her. But yeah, we're gonna get to our other co-host today. We're gonna start off with Mr. Martinez. Mr. Martinez, how you doing today?
Hey, Manny, hold for 1 second. Let me just hit a commercial real quick, and we're going to get to the guest on the Zoom.
We got commercials.
About 10
y'all.
seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
The real discussion can't be silenced. Perspective of yours, one night show. Mi gente, mi people, the conversation, and Q Nation.
Cool. Manny, you up, baby?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Mi gente, my people. Miss y'all. How y'all been? And congratulations to Claudia.
Thank you.
Haven't seen you in a while.
We miss you.
Congratulations to the big news that you have. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, we gonna call you Uncle. We know you are Theo. You better show up with the biggest gift.
Uncle Manolo.
There you go.
Uncle Manolo.
So you know the Nitro Nation is listening. What you want them to know about? What's going on this week? What's been happening? What have you been up to over out there in Queens? That's what I want to know.
Well, what we're doing right now is we're reorganizing, right? We're trying to get lined up with the 964s and get with the amendments, the bylaws, and also set up our plan, following Carmen Quinones with the Resident Management Corporation. So we're going to start engaging the community in regards to that. I do want to give a shout out to Carmen Quinones. She has the first RMC. I call her Doña
That's
CEO.
right. The madrina in the house.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Right. And so, doing that, you got the pantry that was thriving during COVID is still functioning. It's wildly successful. I have to give a huge, massive shout out to Melissa Pickney Hill for organizing. And
Who's that?
running
Who's that?
pantry.
Who's she? Like, you can't drop names without saying who they are.
she was the sergeant of arms, and she had, now mind you, she had moved, but she still comes back and runs that pantry for the community, and that's an amazing thing. And you should see how active it is, right? And some very strong ideas that she put in there. Seniors have their own line, residents have their own line, so they can come and go quickly. It's an amazing function. And we just in here trying to make sure management keeps doing what they're supposed to be doing, and we're looking at things that NYCHA on the whole is doing, things that we need to be focusing on, right? This jurisdiction-wide representation, how we need to be more included in that conversation, how we need to start looking at a better structure that represents all of us, right? We have to consider, we have, last time I checked, and I know it has changed, right? So we've had 300 presidents, and it may have been reduced now for all of the RAG conversions, but out of 300 presidents, 300 resident councils, 1,500 resident council officers, this representation has to be inclusive for us. We have to understand what the process is, informing it, making sure that it is following suit, and that we have the voice at the table, right? We also have to expand these RABs, these resident advisory board, in which we have the authority to do, and the expectation, we must have that expectation to justify it and make it correct. We also have to strategize our next steps, and we do have some next steps as individual resident councils collaborating together. And so we're going to have to
Can you name just one of those next steps for people who are just tuning in and don't, understand what's going on?
So there's a mandate in the 964s that resident councils and the housing authority, all housing authorities, has to have a memorandum of understanding with the resident council. 3 years have gone by for all of the resident councils. I know that the jurisdiction-wide resident council is a recommendation that was made by HUD. It's not a mandate. I've seen it in writing from certain organizations saying that it was a mandate. It's not a mandate. It was a recommendation. And we have to make sure that they don't substitute that recommendation with our rights. And we also have to understand our rights so that we can enforce our rights. If we don't know our rights, then when they take it away from us, it's like we're giving silent acceptance. We can't allow that to happen.
Absolutely. Thank you. We're going to move on to Mrs. Tibbs, because I know you got a lot to say.
Not like a big mouth or anything.
No, never that. No, you're very informative. That's why I said, I want you to speak. I want y'all know this is your platform, giving y'all the opportunity to, let loose.
Highly discouraged with RAD and PACT. I want no parts of it over here. I'm in a development where we have 8 presidents. Wise Towers is currently still undergoing the atrocities of the PACT program. We rally around Ernesto, the TA president over there, constantly, as well as rallying around Melanie at 344 East 29th Street. What PRC isn't doing to them is something unconscionable. It's worse than what NYCHA does. And they've been given thousands and thousands on top of thousands of money to upgrade these developments, and they're getting shoddy materials. Someone's got to mute. Just a lot of issues.
Let me mute that.
Okay. Just a lot of issues that are unacceptable. The behavior is unacceptable. The tenant shouldn't have to deal with it. And we, even though he's under PACT and no longer NYCHA, we rally around them every day to make sure that they know that they're not left alone just because they've been put under the public-private partnership.
So, but isn't PACT supposed to be better for us? I know there was just this weekend, there was a stabbing, And
talk
let's talk about that.
It's murder. So Batanzas houses went into RAD over a year ago. Actually a little longer than that because they had finished their conversion already.
And this is something they welcome because it was sold as like a saving grace.
Yeah, it was done right after Ocean Bay was done. The next to fall in line was Batanzas houses. In the beginning, it was horrendous. NYCHA turned the keys over. Batanzas Wavecrest, of course, is managing them also. Garbage wasn't picked up for weeks. The streets were littered with garbage. Work wasn't being done. Tenants couldn't pay their rent properly. All the atrocities surrounding Wavecrest started happening again as they did with Ocean Bay.
So before you go on, right, let's talk about Wavecrest. Wavecrest is a management company, correct?
Yes. Wavecrest is in charge of the managing. What is it? MDK, I think, was the architect.
MDK.
All right. But again, it's de Blasio's people. It's people that de Blasio owed favors to back in the beginning of RAD when de Blasio decided how he was going to divvy up the developments to all people he owed favors to. That's how they got put in place. But what happened at Batanzas over the weekend was disgusting because you can't promote how great PACT is going to be when you've got floodlights and new security cameras and you've got security forces that are patrolling the grounds, and yet you have a tenant who not only got her throat slashed, but got stabbed repeatedly and killed.
Yeah.
So
that's
all
sad.
murder. It's murder. And where are the cameras? Where's the footage? Why is it they have no idea who they should be apprehending behind this? How is this allowed to happen in a newly developed, a newly finished development that supposedly has all these rave reviews by reporters that have been now sent every time there's a development that's completed under RAD or PACT? You send a whole crew of news reporters up there to do a fluff piece on them, only to find out windows may look nice, but they don't open. Elevators don't work. Compactors are missing doors. Fires are breaking out on a daily basis. All these things are happening behind the scenes and nobody is reporting it.
And that sounds very similar to what happened in Lexington houses up the block from me about 2 weeks ago. The young lady that was found inside of a storage container in the Bronx, exactly 4 blocks away from Yankee Stadium, she was killed in Lexington houses. Inside her household, inside Lexington houses, the assailant took and he smothered her with a pillow, stuffed her into the container, stored the container on top of the roof. And this is why it's so important for our roof landings to be checked. She was stored on top of the roof for they didn't find this young lady until March. When was it? I think it was March 9th, right?
Like that, 'cause her birthday
around that time. This young lady was killed on February 18th. So from February 18th, it was a missing persons report put out on this young lady, and she was killed by a family member. The family member, like I said, stuffed her into a storage container, took that storage container to the roof, left it there for weeks, and then got assistance in bringing that storage container from the roof to put into the trunk of his car and drove that young lady. You know, she was a mother. She was somebody from the community and dumped her in a dump site. And the only reason she was found so quickly is that the body was so corroded that the smell brought attention to her. So that's something very similar. These are things that are not talked about. These are the dangers that we face as residents. I'm sorry, Cynthia. You can continue, but I had to do that comparison.
Yet Gregory Russ will promote how Rad Impact will bring us into a safer environment. There is no safety for us, whether we're under public housing or whether we're under RAD or PACT. We are never going to be safe unless we are resident management, unless we
Absolutely.
are making our own developments the way we need to run them to keep our tenants and our communities safe. Because NYCHA can't do it. They don't care. They're too busy stealing our money on a daily basis.
This is a
And
question I'm gonna throw out there though. Do you guys know that your officers from your PSA have been put into the train stations to evict the homeless? Did you
yes.
guys know about that? Carmen, you knew about that? Manny, you knew about that?
Unfortunately, yes, they have been put in there
Yeah.
because of all the violence in the train stations, which
Oh.
again, now with a battle on whose life is more, whose life matters more, public housing residents or people in the train stations, because you're fighting against a system that doesn't care about us. They don't really care about us at all. And they wouldn't be in the train stations unless, people trying to get to work weren't making such a stink about it. But when it comes to NYCHA, they think we don't work. They think we don't know how to run businesses. They don't think we're educated. We are all of the above, okay? And we deserve to be recognized.
Now I'm gonna pose this question to each of you, and I'm gonna pose it to Carmen because she hasn't spoken. Why do you think that they do this to us?
Why do they do this to us? Because you know what? New York City housing residents have to get on the ball. If you do not care about where you live and you don't show up for these meetings where the presidents are battling every day to get you the repairs and the acknowledgement that you need, then we're fighting a losing battle. And this is what I keep telling my residents. We're only one person. The president is one person. And half the time we're doing everybody's job, even the elected officials' job. So if the residents don't get on the ball, nothing is ever going to change. The residents have to come out the same way they came out for Trump, the same way they came out for Black Lives Matter. Why aren't you in the street fighting for your home? I just don't get it. I really don't get it. I mean, they should be out here uproared, mad as hell that these elected officials have sold them out.
And I know
Everyone they put into office is going with the Rad and Pat. They're going with the blueprint and they're selling you out. And you want to smile and take pictures with them. Man, they've invited me everywhere. I haven't been nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. I'm not smiling with you guys. Hell to the no. Because you know what? As long as I don't have no hot water.
Recording in progress.
As long as I don't have hot water. As long as I don't get what I need where I live, I ain't got no business standing up with you, running, trying to help you get an elected office, and you are
get
against
signatures, and because it's election time, y'all. Yeah, I need to understand that. Now, Manny, I know you got an analytical point of view of that, and I want to hear that.
Well, I think we need to. One, I want to echo what Carmen said, and also what Cynthia said. But echoing what Carmen said about us being able to come together. One, we got to realize one thing. You want to know why this is happening to us? Because it's racism. New York State is the most racist state in the country. It has the most segregated school system. Not to say that we need white folks in our communities to have a good school system, but it just shows that we don't get the money. We got to also remember that NYCHA communities are in every red line area. And so for those who don't understand what red line is, it's segregation. They made sure that you didn't get the money because you was Black, because you was Hispanic, because you was Italian, because you was Irish, whatever it was back before Irish and Italian were white, right? And so we got to understand that this back in 1940s, this is still happening to us here today. This is why they get to racketeer the distribution that's coming in through public housing so they can amass these huge executive salaries and create these excessive departments and make sure that these contractors get these $100 million, $200 million deals and do not give back to the community. And we don't know these rights. See, another problem is that we don't know. And we got to start just fighting this back, right? We got to understand this. When we look at the lead crisis, when the lead crisis hit, it was over 1,000 of our children under 18 who was infected, who was diagnosed with lead poisoning, right? That's 6 times larger than Flint, Michigan. At that same time, when that report came out, that's when Syria had a chemical attack and 700 people got hit. More of our folks was impacted by a chemical attack than overseas, and there's no attention given to us. Look at what's happening right now
in Ukraine. Look at what's happening now in Ukraine. Do you think if I was somewhere in Africa?
Look at the Ukraine cities and how they impacted, and compare that to the nitrous cities and tell us that we ain't been at war, that we don't have our own war that's happening right here domestically.
That's
right. I have to walk in when I walk into Europe, right, and it's covered in mold, or you have walls falling apart, or you have holes where you have, pests coming through. All of these things that happen in here that is not mandated for any human being, that we have rights legislated against this, because public housing began to cater to us, they turned it back into the tenements. And that was the whole reason why they're doing this this blueprint for change is because they want to destabilize our community, destabilize the protections we have, the over income limit protection, so that they can lighten up New York City.
But they also are attacking the charters. If you notice, charters have a cap on that on how much money they can get. And charters have made a difference in our communities, in the educational system.
The charter schools.
Absolutely. So
if I could say something to the charter schools, though, the reason why we have charter schools is because they're splitting up our regular schools. Why couldn't we get the funding in our regular schools? If you look at the segregation, if you look at the lines in which these communities are segregated, on one side of the line, all of these schools have been devastated by charter schools, split up, 4 schools in 1 school. And then when you look to the other side, the integrity of that school is maintained, is kept. They get more money, they get better funding. We don't get the same funding. And so they utilize that as an excuse to bring in.
And then they use the excuse that those people vote. That's an excuse that they do use.
It's not just voting. It's not just voting.
That's one of the excuses that they use.
It's the least that you can do in the voting process. It's the least. When you have people putting money into campaigns, when you have people organizing these campaigns, when you have people creating political action committees and harnessing community funds so that they can engage these campaigns, that is what leverages these political policies and these politicians.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because if you look at all those organizations that claim they wasn't supporting the Republican platform, they have now started to give money back to those platforms in which they were supposedly against just last year. A lot of those big corporations, organizations, and things of that nature, they're starting to give that money back to where they said they pulled it from.
Look at the small businesses. Look who they gave money to. They gave no money to no small business.
It didn't go to no mom and pop shops.
None. All corporate. All corporate. That's where all the money is going to.
They need to
That's
go to
why
jail.
they didn't fund NYCHA. They gave no money to us for nothing. For nothing.
And the crazy thing about that, I just wanted to interject on that for a minute, Carmen. But they approved $13 billion for the Ukraine.
Exactly.
Without a problem. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no issue. They didn't have to protest for the shit.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the problem. That's the biggest problem we have. You don't take care of home base, but you take care of everybody else. How the hell does that make sense?
Well, that's the message that they send to us. We ain't part of their home base.
They don't care.
So look at Biden. When Biden came in, he gave us another study, and then he gave, and not to I'm not trying to split up communities now, but he gave us another study, the 5th study in the last 30 years, and then he named by name gave Asian Americans, the Pacific Islanders, specific legislation against against racism
That's
and
racism.
things of that nature. What we
Exactly.
need to fight for, what we need to fight for, public housing residents need to be a protected class in New York City and in New York State and across the nation. We should have enough power to put that legislation in. We need to start creating political action committees to make sure that we have a protected class status so that we don't continue on with this abuse, because mind you, this is abuse. This is 1950s, 1850s racism that's happening right now. Families are getting really hurt. Families are getting really abused. We have children that's being threatened. We also have this new narrative of not criminalizing homelessness when it comes to public housing. We are a residential community. How do you say you're not going to criminalize homelessness in public housing as if we was Central Park, as if we was the train station, as
That's
if
right.
we was
I
That's
just
right.
had that
We're not those
conversation.
places. When a person comes into our property and is a restricted area, basement or roof, they're not homeless. They're trespassing.
Yeah,
And we have
trespassing.
rights. There's New York State Penal Law 140.15, I believe, .10, right? Third degree trespassing that specifically mentions public housing restricted areas as trespassing, but they refuse to enforce our rights. We have too many people who's waiving our rights on our behalf.
Those are the
refusing to
elected
enforce our
officials
rights.
doing that, because I just
they-
brought that up and it was a conversation had because, you know, with these new drug task force and, you know, gun the new cops that they have coming in,
Criminal violence
yes.
violence
Right?
program.
I
Eric Adams
brought it up because I'm like, how is it not a criminalization? And what was told to me, right, is that New York is not equipped to deal. Most of the people who come into the buildings have mental illness, and New York is not equipped to deal with the mental health problems that have been brought to light through COVID, because it's been there before COVID, and it's getting pushed off. And what I said to them was, it's not right that it's being pushed off onto the NYCHA residents where we're endangered and we have to just keep holding on and living with this. By no way is that right. And they
But
kept
again,
pushing
you gotta
back.
look at it, Matt. You gotta look at it, Claudia. New York City Housing Authority has never implemented any rules or regulations that they even set. The smoking ban rule, they didn't enforce it. People on the grass, they don't enforce it. They don't enforce anything that's on the 964 regs at all.
Poop on the
At
street.
all.
Dog poo
Let
everywhere.
alone their own rules that they implement that have nothing to do with the 964 regs. And guess what they do? They've been doing it for a long time. They make their own
Why is
just
it
like
breaking
they
up?
make their own rules with CCOP now. CCOP is a part of New York City Housing Authority now. That's really
There you
what's
go.
going on.
Talk about it.
Mic drop. Mic drop.
I'm good for mic. I'm good for dropping a mic.
Repeat
I'm
that
good for
again.
dropping a mic.
Repeat that again, because it was breaking up. Carmen,
What?
repeat that about the C cop again. And it's the city council.
CCOP is a part of New York City Housing Authority now, because they're the ones that make the rules. They're making the rules. They made the CCOP has made rules with New York City Housing Authority, and now NYCHA only pays attention to what
CCOP.
CCOP has to say. So what is that telling you?
And
They're a part of
specifically
New
the
York City Housing
president,
Authority.
correct? And specifically the president. Because how can one person be a voice for 400,000? That's
Well, that's
ridiculous.
Our own fault. That's our own fault, because we allowing it. Because if New York, and again, it goes back to the residents. The residents have to put their foot down, man. It's not only me, Occupy NYCHA, you, Claudia. Why do we have to keep making the waves? Why aren't residents getting off their butt and doing what they got to do for themselves? It's your apartment.
They've
It's
become
your
too
apartment.
complacent.
You need to be out here with us.
No, they have that mentality, excuse the language, when you come on and say something to them, they have that mentality of, fuck it, it's only the projects. So, F it is only the projects, get out of the projects. You don't deserve to live here. When you have that mentality.
That's why the RMC is very important. What everybody has to know is resident management corporation is the only way to go. You need to manage your own corporation.
Keep telling them.
You need to manage your own development. That's what I'm doing now. That's what I'm getting ready to do.
We need to have a
And
say of who comes into this
The only way
development.
they're gonna listen
That's
to you
the only way.
is that way.
The only way they're gonna do it is through resident management, and people need to understand that. They fight that, and they're like, "Oh, but resident." And what I explained to everyone, resident management means something different to every development, because every development is unique in its own way. So what structure might fit Cynthia might not fit me, or it might and it might not fit Manny. It might not fit Carmen. But one of the things that I say, Carmen, and you know, Douglas Houses is the perfect platform for resident management, because once it's successful there, you know, and just being recognized is the first hurdle. You still have a long way to go, and that's what people don't understand. Just because you got that over that first hurdle does not mean the war has been won. It's still a long way to go. And why I say Douglas was the perfect place for it to begin, because on your development, you have brownstones, you have short stacks, you have tall stacks. So once it's successful there, it is no other development that you will go to that you will encounter something that you have not experienced within your own development. That is one of the reasons why I am so proud that you were able to do that. You get what I'm saying? Because Cynthia is brownstones. You have brownstones on your property. They have, Manny, I'm pretty sure your buildings aren't tall, but they're short stacks, correct?
Yeah, they're walk-ups here.
See?
Well, we have 7 stories and walk-ups. We don't have the
towers that like I have. I have 14 floors. Some of Carmen's buildings are 20 floors. So it goes above. You understand what I'm saying? That was the perfect model that had most of the structures in which is around the entire city of NYCHA. So once it's successful there, and it's not about starting it everywhere at one time. She needs our support. At the end of the day, we need to support her, because once she is successful, we can then roll it out in every other development. But she has to be successful. It's not about who did it first. It's not about, oh, I want to do it too. You have to go through it, and we have to support her, and we have to be there when she makes that call. Why you have to be there? Because it has one person, and if that full fist, instead of that one finger, that full fist goes through with Douglas Houses, guess what? It's nowhere that we cannot roll it out, and it's you responsible for your own resident management corporation. Exactly. It is not going to be Carmen running it. It is not Occupy NYCHA that is going to be running it. It is you, the resident. The resident. Because she did not do that by herself. She had to get her residents. Yes, I am. I'm amped up now.
Yeah, I see you charged up.
She has to get her residents behind her. 50% has to agree. 51% has to agree to that resident management. So it's no way, you know, I'm tired of these people going after her. I'm tired of these people wanting to attack her. I'm tired of these people who said it couldn't be done. It is no elected official out there that said it could be done. It is no person out there that said it could be done. Yes, it has been done in multiple other cities, but it has yet to be successful where we can roll it out and keep it. So it's a matter of us keeping it. Stop wearing that badge of honor on your chest and talk about, oh, look at me, look at me. It is not about look at me. Because if none of us is not successful, we are all a failure.
That's right.
If one of us does not get through, and we have to push through for her, you put your shit to the side. I don't care what you feel. This is the way to go. This is why CCOP has not acknowledged it, because they've been sitting on this shit for decades. And they know if they acknowledge it right now, people are going to ask, why? Why have you not been pushing this? Why? We can fight on all fronts, but this should be at forefront of all things. The support. Because guess what? We have the acknowledgement and we're being noticed. And we have enough people out there that are out there to get us, to see us fail. And I refuse to be a failure.
Well, she said everything I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
We need all hands on deck. I need every single one of y'all, because all of y'all got what it takes to make sure that this moves.
I'm doing Lamar's right now. Breathe.
No, the question is, how many developments have picked up the phone and said, Carmen, how can I help you? Carmen, what do you need? None of them. But they're really, really quick to knock it down.
Yeah.
Talk about she gonna go to jail. Yeah, y'all gonna go right with her.
Because it goes against NYCHA's way. That's why.
God forbid they go against NYCHA.
And
They
this is
scared.
the problem.
They
We got
scared.
tenants that are too complacent
They
in
scared,
their
Cynthia.
own ways, that are sitting around stagnant, that want to sit on the benches and talk about everybody and what they're doing wrong and how they're not getting this and how they're not getting that, rather than band together with us.
They're real quick to call. They're real too quick to call their neighbor or calling their family member to say how their apartment is falling apart. But when you tell them where's the tickets, what tickets?
They have to put
Come
one in.
on.
They haven't put one in.
Not one in. Or when they come up to me, my apartment, give me the ticket.
Let me tell y'all that this is a really this adventure that I'm starting to see we're gonna need so much help with. It's just as Claudia says, all eyes are on this pilot program. Every eye is on this pilot program, and like I said, this is not a Carmen show. This is about the residents, man. Because whatever the residents say, that's what's gonna go. It's not about me. This is about all of us. Every single resident that lives in New York City Housing Authority. Everyone. And I'm going to need everybody. I'm going to need Manny. I'm going to need Cynthia. I'm going to need Claudia. I'm going to need you, Ada. I'm going to need everybody to make sure that this works. Because let me tell you something. Once we get this off the ground, they can take off Pat and Rad and all that dumb shit that they doing. Okay? But I'm going to tell you something. Greg Russ needs a win. And they're looking at this right now, RMC, as a win. Because they're offering everything. I have sat down with Greg Russ. They're offering us everything, even a lawyer, everything that you can imagine. Because Greg Russ needs a win. Everything has been a failure. Everything has been a failure. And one thing I must say is that we're going to have to learn how to work with New York City Housing Authority. We're going to have to work with HUD. We're going to have to work with all of them. But they have to come our way. We're not going your way. We're going our way. Because this is about the residents. It's not about NYCHA. It ain't about HUD. It ain't about none of that shit. We need to stand firm and stand steady. Because this shit is going down.
But the baby hears you, and it's just kicking
me
in my side.
I know
like,
my
for
baby.
real. I gotta sit here. Like,
You done gave the baby all that adrenaline. Of course now the baby hopped up.
Right.
Now the baby hopped
But
up now.
seriously, this is it's really let me tell you something. This is actually sometimes I get scared. I get scared at the attention that we're getting. But you know what? You know, I don't scare that easy, but it is an adventure that's going to take a lot of work. I just got my foot in the door. My body ain't in there yet. That's it. Just my foot. Now I got to get my body in. And I can't get my body in without y'all. Y'all are NYCHA. Can't do it by myself. I need all of y'all. All of y'all. And right now, the only thing we're taking over as resident management is maintenance. We're not taking the whole shebang. There's no way we could do the whole shebang. It's got to be step by step. And that is training the board, training of all kinds, for the residents. I've done. We're doing the OSHA training. We're doing the flagger training. Next, we're doing the scaffolding training, and we're gonna do definitely property management training. This is not a joke. This is serious stuff. This is only one step. Like I said, it's only 1 foot. I still got to get the other foot in there to get my body in. So while congratulations are in order, man, listen, I got too far to go to be congratulated now. I just made the first step. That's it. But the rest of the steps, I'm going to need everybody. Everybody. So I'm going to be calling everybody. But tomorrow, I'm leaving for Georgia. And I'm going out for a week. I need a break. But anyway, when I get back, yeah, you too, Rock. I'm going to need you too.
We need everybody. We need everybody to come and do their part. Because it's like a body, you know. You have the heart, have the lungs, you need the veins, you need the vessels, you need and it's a long way before we put the skin in the game.
You got that shit right.
You understand what I mean?
You got that right.
We it's a long way before we get the skin on this. Right now we just got the skeleton. We need to build on that to build the body. But the main thing is we got the skeleton.
Listen, there's been so many contracts thrown at me from Nitro right now. You know that the first thing they told me, oh, Nitro will never give you a contract. That's bullshit.
First.
That's bullshit. They're throwing contracts. Okay? They're throwing contracts at me. Okay? But we got to sit down, and I'm going in with my army, especially my Occupy Nitro. We're all going in there. We're gonna sit there and we're gonna do that model. We're gonna do what resident management needs to look like. Because, like Claudia said, every development is not the same. Can't use the same thing. It's not gonna happen. So, for us to get this together, we all got to make sure that every bit of it is right. And it's gonna and we are gonna fail in a lot of things, but we need to just make sure we go back and get it right.
You don't about getting it right until you fail. And you cannot be successful until you fail. Because that's the way we learn. But I'd rather it's us than us putting our faith in somebody else and them failing, and then we're like, oh, well, who do we pick now? This is us.
They've failed so long already. They've failed everything they've tried to do. They've failed. And I'm going to tell you one thing that I saw, and in the eyes of Greg Russ, he's really excited to make this work. He knows what resident management is. He helped Cynthia Wiggins with the resident management out there. Yes. So he knows what this is, and he knows it can be successful. All right. He just knows that I'm a strong female. He knows that I'm gun-ho with it. And that's why he thinks and he knows this can work. Because I am a no-nonsense person. I don't take any shorts. And nobody on Occupy Nitro takes any shorts. Cynthia don't take no shorts at all. Claudia, man, you got to get up early in the morning for her. And Manny, they're just scared of. Okay?
They hate to see him walk in the room.
We can do this, and we can do this right.
And Rock, you got a part to play in it too. Like she said, you wasn't here when she said it. We're going to need your help too.
I'm in the building.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Rock definitely in on this one.
Come on. First of all, definitely. I think this is the most brilliant shit ever. You know what I'm saying? That you guys are taking over your development. And when I first heard about it, I was, the first to congratulate you on it. And I was like, now this is big. And my concept was a concept that you all already said, and I'm just echoing it, that this has to be successful. This has to work. This has to work. And it's going to take everybody's input and ideas and energy to really make that work. You know what I'm saying? So, I love everything that's happening right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's dope to me. I had to go set up, some stuff, in the other room, and as we sign off the show, stay on the Zoom, and that's why you saw me just put my phone on. So I just did that because I need the camera for my phone. So you'll definitely stay on Zoom, but go ahead, keep going. It's dope.
Could I just jump in and say
You're
something real
supposed
quick?
to. You better.
So,
It's y'all show.
and Claudia, me and Claudia met each other in the Resident Leadership Academy, the first one ever, right? And this is where, the Mark Viverito, I forgot her name.
Melissa Viverito, that bitch.
Right, her as a speaker,
Be
she
nice.
put some
Be
money
nice,
in,
Didi.
right, the council and NYCHA and whatever. And so we got into this thing. It was in here that we started talking about Resident Management Corporation. It was in here where I was bringing this up as an alternative in this classroom, and then it began to spread. Now, mind you, this is how things evolve. I want you to know this is us speaking it into existence, us following it through, and then it became a bigger topic, and it became constantly spoken of. We started talking about that in all of our meetings and rallies and things that we were having. Resident management, we were bringing this issue up, and then now look where we at. Look how it unfolded, right? And so I want us to reflect on that, because Carmen, you're here and you got the first step. You took this first step in, and we are all with you on this. But we have to remember from where it came and how it's going to continue to evolve. We have to keep that strategy going. We have to keep looking at where we're going to go, what our next step is, where our next direction is. We got to make sure that we got our strategy focused. I think that the only way that we can win is if we have the mission, the vision and the mission of us controlling more and more of that government funds that's supposed to be coming into our communities. I think the main problem is that you got too many hands that ain't us splitting up our money. So every dollar that comes into our community, we only get 2 cents. And so this is how we control that redistribution. I had somebody ask me, Manny, why are you doing this? Well, the reason is so that we can control and better implement the redistribution of this fund into our community. And this is what's happening. And I'm excited. And what's happening, what's going to come next, it's just going to keep being bigger and bigger, and it's going to keep rolling out. We just keep this energy going. We keep these conversations going, because you got to remember the mind goes what you start to speak. And so we've seen it happen. And so we have to continue to plan. Can't stop it.
This is like
same way we got here, same way we get to the next step. So
Amen.
I salute everyone here for just keeping it going.
Amen.
Thank you all.
Yes. Mrs. Tibbs.
I just remember a year ago when we first started this show, when Manny was on, when Manny was doing the host, and y'all were talking about this a year ago, right? The resident management was the first time I ever heard about it, ever. You know what I'm saying? That it was even possible. And then now it's happening. Now it's real. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. I love it. I like seeing progress.
And I need people to understand, we don't need permission to do this. We don't need permission from any elected official or NYCHA to do this. This is your civic right as a resident and resident council. It is not NYCHA's responsibility to tell you, well, hey, you know what? You can form a resident management. Because if they do that, that's taking them out of a job. So you really think they're going to tell you that? They know it's on the books. They're going to feign ignorance just like everybody else. So understand, we are doing the impossible, because everyone I've ever spoke to said that this was impossible.
That's right.
Let
me tell you, this has been a vision for 5 years. For 5 years, I've been trying to get this. 5 years. So it's not something that just was concocted. There takes a lot of mentality, and it takes a lot out of us to just think of the things that you can do. And the whole thing about it is knowing those 964 regs, is knowing your laws. If you don't know that, you dead. You dead. And that's one thing that our residents really need to start reading what their rights are, what they're capable of doing. Everybody's capable of doing this. It is written. Our Bible says it. That our Bible's 964 regs. Y'all got to get to know them.
And I think Manny, because look, when I go at him, I know I gotta come correct. And me and him we bump heads a lot. I remember that classroom, Manny. As many times me and you just took over the classrooms just with our own debates. And you know, as if you know Manny stands his ground. But
Yep.
I'm a great debater as well. I might not be as eloquent, but you know what I mean? Like, that's just the Brooklyn in me. I always tell people.
Fighter.
But, you understand? I get it, and I know that he get it, and it's a matter of respect. You understand? Everybody has to respect everyone, and everybody is not going to have the same point of view, but you have to learn to have an open mind. You have to be open to receiving information just as much as you give information. And sometimes when you have information and you know that you believe that it's right, it might not be. So you got to be open to that. And it's not always your way. You got to be willing to go a different direction, even though you've been walking this path A. Sometimes you got to pivot and just go down the B road. You understand? Because it's for the betterment of all, not self. You got to take self out of it. You got to take your personal feelings out of it. Because if you keep that there, you will be missing out on the bigger picture. And that's what it's about. It's about the people. It's about us as Black and Latino and every poor person. Because, you know, even though we're the majority, there's other cultures that are in there that are mixed in between. And no movement has ever been successful unless everybody got behind it. Black, white, Indian, Asian. Yes, and we have a large Asian community. And I talk to mines. We have our own kind of sign language and we understand each other. But you know what? I'm glad and I'm appreciative of them. And I'm working on getting translation for them because I know that they have so much to offer. Because you got to look at it this way. They out here giving us new roofs, right? And we got to come up with other ideas and how with keeping it green and moving away from the old ways. That way we can bring it up to, you know, our energy sufficiency and stuff like that, right? I know that on every rooftop we can have gardens. And what I've realized about my Asians, their agricultural skills are on the money.
Like, aren't they gardening like in the middle of middle of your development? Like,
They do
I think I remember
everything.
seeing
Listen,
that.
I've gotten cabbage. I've got winter squash. I've gotten
tomatoes.
Listen, they can do it.
Yeah, right in the park, like right there.
Thank you. And that is a food source just for your own community.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Wherever there's green, you got a garden.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Not
sure.
only that, solar paneling can go on our own, and we can eventually start doing our own energy source.
Being self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient. And I'm glad you said that, because that was the point in creating public housing. Was it not, Manny? Is that not what we...
That's what it became. But that wasn't the point for creating public housing, was to house white folks coming back from World War I. In 1969, when they had the 9-month rent strike in St. Louis, that provoked, that leverage, that forced the Brooke Amendment to that's where we first got the subsidy of 25% of your household income. That was in 1969. But in 1940, you got to remember, again, we're looking at redlining. We're looking at creating public housing for white folks coming back from World War I. Black people and non-white people was not able to get into public housing. And then when Black people started coming into public housing, they began segregating the public housing. When you had a Black development and you had a white development, or if on the same development, you would have the white side versus the Black side. You would have, there's accounts of coming into the management office and seeing two lines, a line of white people and a line of Black people. And so it did not become what it is today. A lot of the opportunities, a lot of the rights, a lot of the power and the authority that we have that we're not enforcing, but that we have legislated on our side came recently in 1969. It came during the Civil Rights Movement. It came during that 9-month rent strike that bankrupted the St. Louis Housing Authority and provoked federal legislation. That safety net was created by us.
And that brings in the Section 3, correct?
And this is why we have to fight for it even more. Because if they got $13 billion for Ukraine, if they got all of these other money for everywhere else and not us, if Hochul, the state senator, the New York State senator, has a $7 billion surplus and is bragging about a $7 billion surplus while she got New York City Housing Authority crumbling in her backyard, then we got to take those messages for what it is, and we have to respond back. And that's what we need to do. So remember, no, it wasn't created for us, but we took it over and we created these rights that we have was created by our community, and we have to, as a community, continue that on. We have to expand it. We have to get to the max of it and then expand it even more. This is what we need to do.
Okay, those were the last words from Manny Martinez. Cynthia?
Yes, dear.
I want you, we at that hour, guys, and I want you to leave us with some last words.
We got to do better. Our residents need to step up more. They need to stop being complacent. They need to understand their value and their words and their importance matters. And they need to start backing us. If not, they can't keep complaining and expect things to improve without their support. Because right now we get not as much support as we should be getting from them.
Thank you. Doña Carmen, I'm gonna let you cut the show out. You gonna close it out.
Well, first of all, let me thank you for just having a mic for the people of New York City Housing Authority. You continue to impress me. You continue to improve with everything that you do. I'm so proud of you, daughter. But the only thing I want to leave people with is, man, listen, if you live in NYCHA, you need to step up and step out. You need to fight for your rights. Don't let nobody squash you, man. Listen, none of these elected officials are for you. So if they're not for you, stop being there for them. Stop collecting those petitions. Make them accountable. Make them accountable. Right now, they done sold your rights. So with that, I'm going to say God bless you and fight. It's your right.
All right, y'all. You heard it here. Mi gente, my people. Until next week.
Oh, we ain't signing off. We got something to do.
Yeah, we got something to do.
All right, so we're going to do it right now. Come on, we're going to go to the other room.
Go.
Stay with us. The Zoom is not ended. Just hang with me. Hold on for 1 second, because you know. But the mic's going to change because I'm going to go to the other room. I'm using my phone. Come on, y'all.
We can't take this with us.
Oh, no, we can take this. I got my phone.
Okay.
We can take this.
Go.
Come on.
Where are we going?
Ride with me. Ride with me.
Say goodbye.
Begin. She taking your pants? She can't take your pants. Look at her. She got a whole wardrobe. I'm coming.